Hey everyone, as you can probably guess, I am sick today. You probably could tell that was going to happen from my voice yesterday and how it sounds now. So I wish I was there with you, but unfortunately I am home with my cough medicine and trying to make it so I have a voice at the end of the day. So I thought it would be better if we did a video. I think you'll be able to hear me better this way than if I tried to stand in front of the room. So today is a math around the room day, and you know how that works. So we are going to do the first 3 rows on your answer sheet together to give you some extra practice and you know exactly how to do these types of problems. So stay with me, show all your work, do it exactly as I do for those first 3 rows. If it looks just like mine, then you can go ahead around the room. You know the rules for that. You can work on your own if you want, or you can work with a partner. Check your actual answers on the orange answer keys that are around the room, but you have to show your work. That's how you get credit. Since I'm not there to check them as you go, just do each row, and when time is up for math class, turn it into the bin, and I will look over all of them when I get back, and I will give you your money. So it is $5 for each row. The twist this time is that you have to show your work exactly as I've showed my work on the example problems that we do together first. So you'll get $5 for every row if your work is exact and your answer is also correct. If you have the correct answer but not the right work, then I'm going to subtract $1 from your 5 for every time. So just be really careful today. Make sure you're getting the answer and showing your work correctly. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to do the first few rows together. Follow along. Make it match exactly. Please be amazing today. Math around the room is something that we do a lot, so you know the rules, you know the expectations. Just please do an amazing job following the rules and helping, so when I come back tomorrow to an awesome report, I can be like so excited and happy and jumping around to be back and feeling better and seeing you and being amazing. Okay, let's get started. All right, let's look at conversions. I'll try not to cough as we go ahead and do this. Here we go. 35 yards equals how many feet? We know when we have conversions that we have to set it up like an input-output table. So I'm going to look for my conversion of yards to feet on my chart. There it is. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So I'm going to grab it like a sticker and write it. 1 yard equals 3 feet. And then make my table. I know here 35 yards, so I'm going to put that on my yard side. 35 yards. How many feet is what I'm looking for. Make sure when you're writing that, you're writing your units, yards and feet. Okay, now I have to figure out what my rule is. I can see that I'm going from 1 to 3. My number is going up, so I'm going to multiply by 3, and that's my rule. I have the number that I know in my input side, so I know that I can just do 35 times 3 equals 105. I'm going to put that 105 feet. That's my final answer. Make sure you have your units or you'll lose $1 on your sheet. And circle it. 105 feet. There we go. Next conversion, 52 quarts equals how many gallons? I'm going to look at my conversion sheet. I see 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So I'm going to peel it off like a sticker and write it down. Oops, not in highlighter. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, and make my input-output table. Now I can see that I am going from 1 to 4, going up. That means my rule is going to be multiply by 4. Okay. Blank gallons, I don't know that, so I'm going to put a question mark here, and 52 quarts is what I do know. This time, my unknown is on my input side, so that means I have to do the inverse operation to get to my input. So 52 divided by 4 equals 13. That's 13 gallons. Make sure you write your unit to get your dollar for your work and circle it. There you go. Number 3, another conversion. 700 centimeters equals how many meters? Find it on your chart. I see 1 meter equals 100 centimeters right there. Peel it off like a sticker and write 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Make your input-output table. Check your rule. I'm going from 1 to 100. That's going up, so I'm going to multiply by 100. I know 700 centimeters, so I'm going to put that there. I'm trying to figure out how many meters. Once again, my input part is unknown, so I'm going to need to do the inverse operation. 700 divided by 100 equals 7 to get an answer of 7 meters, and circle it. Okay, last conversion. 8 pounds equals how many ounces? Find it on your conversion chart. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Peel it off like a sticker and write it. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Set up your input-output table. Check your rule. 1 to 16 going up. So my rule is, excuse me, multiply by 16. Then I can go ahead and put in what I know, which is 8 pounds. It goes on this side. I don't know my ounces. This time I know the input side, so I can just plug it in. 8 times 16 equals, I can use my calculator to find out, it equals 128. That is 128 ounces, and circle it. So as you're doing these types of problems around the room, you need to show your work. You must show your input-output table with the sticker that you pulled off. You have to show what the rule is. I'll highlight that right there. And you also have to have your equation, 8 times 16 equals 128, and your answer circled. So you need to have all of those 5 pieces to get your money. If you just have 128 ounces, that is not enough. You will lose $1 for that problem. Okay, let's move on to our next problem, our next row actually on our answer sheet. It's a new type of problem. It says you put in a movie at 8:22 and finish watching it at 10:03. How much time passed while you were watching the movie? I'm going to bracket the question. If I'm looking for how much time passed, I'm looking for elapsed time. So I'm going to put EL next to it to show for elapsed. I put it in at 8:22, so that's going to be my start time. I finished watching it at 10:03. Finish is my hint word here. So I'm going to label that as my end time. Now, as soon as you recognize you have an elapsed time problem, you need to write end, E, minus S for start equals elapsed, because that's the equation you're going to have to follow. Then I'm going to write my start time, which is 8 and 22/60. Remember, we put the minutes over 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and our whole is my hour. So the time, 8:22, translates into 8 hours and 22 minutes over 60. Then I'm going to do my elapsed time. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And then finally my end time, which is 10:03. I'm going to put it into a fraction, 10 and 3/60. Then I can just plug it into my equation. I find my end time, which is 10 and 3/60. Subtract it from my start time, 8 and 22/60. Now, I just want you to plug this into the calculator. Don't try to do the math and the regrouping. The easiest, best way to do this is to just grab your calculator. And I'll walk you through what you need to hit in case you can't remember. Hit 10 first, the unit button, 3, numerator, 60, denominator, then your subtraction sign, 8, unit, 22, numerator, 60, denominator, equals. And you will get an answer of 1 and 41/60. Now the question is asking how much time has passed while you were watching the movie. It doesn't make any sense to say, oh, 1 and 41/60 passed. No, you have to say that means 1 hour, 60 minutes. And circle it, because that's your final answer. Number 6, you've been playing a video game for 1 hour and 48 minutes. You started at 7:36. What time did you stop playing? So if I bracket the question, the time that I stopped playing is going to be my end time. 1 hour and 48 minutes is my elapsed time, EL. And my start time is 7:36. So I can see that I have an elapsed time problem. I'm going to write my equation. End time minus start time equals elapsed time. Then I'm going to go ahead and write down what I know. I started at 7:36, which is 7 and 36/60. My elapsed time, or how long I played the game for, was 1 hour, so 1 is my whole, and 48 minutes over 60 seconds, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, and then my end time is what I don't know. So if I look at my equation, end is first. I can never change my end time. It's like my total in a subtraction sentence. I can't change it. So if I don't know my end time and I need to subtract my start time to get my elapsed time, I have a missing subtraction sentence, which means I'm going to need to add start plus elapsed time to get my end time. I have to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to take my start time right here, 7 and 36/60, and I'm going to add it, 1 and 48/60. And again, just plug it straight into your calculator. 7 unit, 36 numerator, 60 denominator, plus 1 unit, 48 numerator, 60 denominator, equals, you're going to get 9 and 24/60. Check the question, what time did you stop playing? This time it's not asking us how long, it wants me to give an actual time. So I'm going to convert my fraction into the time, 9:24, and circle it. Number 7. You get to the playground at 6:42 and spend 1 hour and 28 minutes playing. What time did you leave the playground? So the question, what time did you leave? It's asking me for the end time. 6:42 is my start time. 1 hour and 28 minutes is my elapsed time. As soon as I recognize I have an elapsed time problem, write your equation, end time minus start time equals elapsed time. Okay, so start time was 6:42. or 6 and 42/60. Elapsed time was 1 hour and 28 minutes, so 1 and 28/60. then my end time, once again, is what I don't know. So if I don't know my end time, and I need to subtract it from my start time to get my elapsed time, I have a missing subtraction sentence. That means that I need to do the inverse operation. So I have to do start plus elapsed to get to my end time. So here's my start, 6 and 42/60ths, plus my elapsed, which is right here, 1 and 28/60ths. Plug it straight into your calculator. 6 unit, 42 numerator, 60 denominator, plus 1 unit, 28 numerator, 60 denominator equals 8 and 10/60ths. If you are having trouble plugging that into your calculator, find a friend who knows how to do it and they can show you all the buttons. Of course, 8 and 10/60ths doesn't make sense for an answer, so check your question. What time did you leave? It wants to know an actual time, so we're going to convert that into 8:10 is the time we left, and circle it. Just another reminder, to get credit on your Math Around the Room, you have to show all this work. So make sure you have your end minus start equals elapsed. Make sure you have this part here where you write it all out. And probably the most important part you have to have is this equation here. So make sure you have all of that. Okay, number 8. It rained for 3 hours and 15 minutes. It stopped raining at 8:53. What time did it start raining? So start is our hint word. We're looking for our start time. This time we know our elapsed time and we know our end time. So you know that this is an elapsed time problem. The first thing you need to write is end minus start equals elapsed. And then we'll record the information that we know. So when we started, that's our unknown. We're not sure. It's our missing part. Then the time that elapsed was 3 hours and 15 minutes. So 3 and 15/60ths. Then our end time was 8:53. That's 8 and 53/60ths. This time, I know my end time. Oops, it's supposed to be a check mark. I don't know my start time. That's my question. But I do know my elapsed time. So if I know my end time, but not my start time, I can just flip around my start and elapsed because I know I can always move the part I know and the missing part. So I can have end minus elapsed equals start. So my end time right here, 8 and 53/60ths, minus my elapsed time, 3 and 15/60ths, equals, plug it right into your calculator. Remember to help a friend if they need it. Hit 8 unit, 53 numerator, 60 denominator, minus 3 unit, 15 numerator, 60 denominator equals 5 and 38/60ths. Now that doesn't make sense for an answer, so check your question. What time did it start raining? It wants to know an actual time. So I'm going to write 5:38 and circle it. That was the end of your elapsed time questions. Let's move on to the last type of question we're going to review before you get started. Okay, area and perimeter. I've noticed that you're getting these two confused. So remember, before you start solving, say the rhyme or the phrase from the math word while in your head. For these types of questions, pay close attention to the directions. It says find the area and the perimeter of the square. So let's start with area. Area, I know I need to multiply because my math word wall says, say it with me. I'm serious, say it with me. Ready? Go. Area's the space inside, length times width we multiply. Did you say it? I hope so. Okay, so you have to write area equals, then the length is going to be my longer part. In this square, there's not a longer part, so I'm just going to put 4 times the width, which is also 4. And then I'm going to write again, area equals 16. Don't forget your units. In order to not lose $1 on this problem, you have to put your units, and area is squared. So make sure you square it. There's the area. But I'm not done. I also have to find the perimeter. So I'm going to write perimeter equals, say it with me. Look at the word wall, ready? Perimeter. P around the perimeter. Psst, 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 psst. Atom, 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 atom. I hope you said it. Okay, so we need to add all of the sides. Now I know a square, because the directions tells me it's a square, I know all sides are equal. So this is going to be 4 centimeters, and this is going to be 4 centimeters too. So for perimeter, it's going to be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. If I add all those together, I'm going to get 16, don't forget your units, centimeters. Now, this is a weird case where the area is the same as the perimeter. That's not going to happen all the time. It just happens to do so with a square that is 4 centimeters all around. Let's try the next one. Okay, find the area and perimeter of the rectangle. For area, we need to multiply. For perimeter, we need to add. For a rectangle, we know that opposite sides are congruent. So these two sides will be congruent, and this will be 8 feet. And these two sides will be congruent, and this will be 5 feet. Okay, start with area. Say it with me. Area is the space inside, length times width we multiply. I'm going to multiply my longer side, 8, by my shorter side, 5. Now remember, you can do 8 times 5 or 5 times 8, because when we multiply, we can put them in any order. And 8 times 5 equals 40. This is the part where you can't forget your units. It's feet squared. There's my little 2 there. So there's your area. You still need the perimeter too. So perimeter, P around the, excuse me, P around the perimeter. Psst, 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 psst. Atom, 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 atom. So we're going to add 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. Perimeter is, so 8 plus 8 is 16. 5 plus 5 is 10. So 16 plus 10 would be 26 feet, and you can definitely use your calculator to plug that in. It was just faster for me to do it in my head, but either way, calculator or in your head, you get perimeter is 26 feet. Now notice the area, 40 feet squared, perimeter 26 feet, not the same. So it's not going to be the same every time. That last problem was just a weird one. Number 11, find the area, that means multiply, and perimeter, that means add, of the square. Now it only gives me 7 inches for the square. It only gives me one side, but I know in a square all sides are congruent. So this is going to be 7 inches, this is 7 inches, and this is 7 inches. So to find the area is the space inside, length times width, we multiply, squared. So 7 times 7. I'm going to write that equals 49. My units are inches squared. There's your answer there. Then perimeter, P around the perimeter. Psst, 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 psst. Atom, 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 atom. 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. The perimeter equals 28 inches. And circle it. There you go. Make sure you solve for area and perimeter. Okay, one more before you go around the room. Find the area and perimeter of the rectangle. Rectangles have opposite sides that are congruent, so this these two sides, this will be 9 centimeters. And then if this side's 4 centimeters, this side will be 4 centimeters. Okay, area, say it with me one more time. Area is the space inside, length times width, we multiply, squared. Okay, so 9 times 4. 9 times 4, 1 less, 36 centimeters squared. Then perimeter, P around the perimeter. Psst, 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 psst. Atom, 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 atom. 9 plus 4 plus 9 plus 4. You can plug it into a calculator or do it in your head, but the answer is going to equal 26 centimeters. Circle your area, circle your perimeter. Okay, on your sheet for this type of problem, you have to show me area equals 9 times 4. You have to have your answer circled. Make sure you don't forget your units. For area, it has to be squared. For perimeter, you just need your unit. If you are missing your units or they're not squared, you lose $1 on your sheet. So make it match mine exactly. Do it perfectly. Okay, I am back one more time to remind you to do amazing today. Do what's right, focus, and do your work, because we're going to take a test on just these types of problems tomorrow, and that will be your chance for your E opportunity and to get that E, which you can all do if you put your mind to it. So, remember rules for math around the room. Just going to remind you again, go around the room on your own if you want, or with a partner. Show all your work for every problem. Use the orange answer keys around the room to check your answers so you at least know you're getting the right answer. That's part of it. But when I check it, I'm looking for the work too. So if you have a row going all the way across completely done and all of the answers are completely right, you'll get $5 for that row. If you have all the answers right in one row, but you don't have the work, you won't get $1 for that particular one. So if you have 4 in a row, you have all 5 right, but you only showed your work for one of the problems, you will get $1 instead of 5. So really pay attention, make sure you are showing your work, ask for help if you need it. Be awesome, be amazing, do what you're supposed to do. I can't wait to see you. I'll miss you so much today. Bye-bye.